Adrianne here with the Lynch team at Conway Real Estate, and I have Carrie and Ron Quest with me. Welcome.
Hi.
So today, now that we're starting to hear a little more about what's happening with the COVID-19 and the releases that we're having in Arizona, what are you seeing in the assisted living facilities, group homes? Kind of what's the transition going to look like?
Well, like I was telling you earlier, I got to be on a Zoom call with a huge group of marketing directors and executive directors, and then I've also been in contact with a lot of group homeowners. So they are just as motivated to move the communities along, to get people out and about, and to really be able to have families come see their loved ones. But they have to do it in a very kind of stair-stepped way, and they don't want any resurgence of any COVID cases coming in, or they just are being really protective. So the way that they're really looking at that, and I think it's wonderful, is that they're looking at internally exposing first. So that's mostly in my big communities, memory cares, where they've had to keep people in their rooms. So they're going to stair step and start having people go to meals together, but keeping distance. So if there's a 4 top, they're only going to have 2 at the table, and they're going to stagger meals. So they're going to start to expose them to each other to help build up their immunities and start bringing them back together that way. Same with activities. So it's going to be a very stair-stepped type of reintroduction, and they want to do that internally first, which makes sense.
Right.
Before they start bringing family members in, and they just want to be very protective of their staff and of their residents and just not have to go through this. So it may take time, but they are all diligently working towards that. They are all testing continuously. They're testing their staff, the residents. Any new people that come in have to go through quarantine and testing. So they're being very protective about it, but they do have a plan, and that's giving a lot of families some comfort to know that this just isn't going to be forever.
No, I think that's great. I do think they have to be careful with that, definitely with how fast it could spread, in a type of assisted living facility. So them taking the time and not knowing where their family's coming from and not knowing if they're carriers, that will have to be a slow process. What are ways that family members, I know people are so used to just physically walking into a building to see their family, but what are different ways that you're seeing that people are connecting with one another so that their family doesn't feel like they're just stuck in their room all alone and then the rest of their family's on the outside?
Yeah, because we feel it and we're able to maneuver, and we may have kids and spouses and all that, so it kind of helps a little bit. But with the family members and the seniors, it's really hard. And I know that firsthand because my mom unfortunately had a fall and went to the hospital, and it was really tough to not have that communication with her. And that's not on the same level of what my families are dealing with their seniors. So a lot of people are getting creative, and actually these creative ways can continue past this COVID situation to keep families connected. So I have one gal that her mom has mild cognitive disorders, lives in assisted living, and she's really missing that connection, and her brother lives out of state. And he's used to talking to her for any time, all the time, and that kind of thing. So an Echo was introduced. And you can get it on Amazon, and it's about $69. And my families, what we're doing is we're getting the Echo, having the family set it up, bringing it over to the community, and then they connect it to Wi-Fi and set it up. And it's really nice because the families can call in at any time. Like I said, my one gal, her son calls from out of state, and literally they're connected. She can see them. They're eating dinner, doing dishes, walking around, hanging out, just talking to her like she's in the room and she's doing the same thing. But they have that connection. And some of my families are a little frustrated because the communities are FaceTiming them, and they have specific times. When they're running late, the families get really upset, and I'm like, give them some grace, because maybe they were with somebody who was upset and they've got to finish that call up and go to the next. When you have these Echoes or this type of technology, you don't need to worry about the community and their time frame or what they have going on. You can call them and talk to them and see them, and they can see you anytime. So I love that, and we're really introducing that to a lot of my new clients, and they are really loving it, and it's something they can use past this COVID situation to be able to just see them and connect with them anytime.
I think that's great. People forget that there's so many different ways that they can connect with one another and still feel like they're there. I mean, FaceTime's a big one. Zoom, this type of stuff. It seems like everyone is connecting more online than they ever have before. And most of it, instead of on the phone, is a face. They want to see someone's face and feel like they're connecting. So I think that's a great idea for people. Well, perfect. Well, I'm going to post all that information below along with your information. So if people have questions about moving their loved one or the next steps, they can reach out to you.
Thanks, Adrianne.